Thank you, Matt. We had a successful week with Suits and Sneakers, Laces for Lacey, Coaches vs. Cancer Initiative. While all the coaches were wearing sneakers and ties, honoring Coaches vs. Cancer to help fight this disease. So successful week there. And it was a successful week on the basketball court also, as we won both games, close games against South Alabama and then against Troy. Felt like our guys are shooting the ball well from three-point range. In fact, the last four games, we've shot the guys that have taken the most shots, being Jakeenan, who leads us at 55%, Jarikas, PJ, and Cedric are shooting 49% from three. They're 44 of 90 in the last four games, so it certainly gives us a chance to win. And also, we're scoring the ball with those four starters all averaging double figures, and Marcus averaging 12 and a half. We've got five guys in double figures, and Justin has scored off the bench also and rebounded the ball. So I feel like we're getting acclimated as a team more as we get into this second round of Sun Belt Conference tournament play. And we were 500 in the first round, and we're off to a good start in the second round in the middle part of it. Marcus Stroman certainly had a great game the other night, the second half, and used his strength and his ability to penetrate and get to the basket, and made big play after big play for us. And we had a couple of defensive stops, and we're able to beat a team that is very strong on the interior, certainly with Javen Johnson and Alex Hicks and Bernardo. They have three guys that scored 73 of their 81 points, got 31 of their 35 rebounds, and Johnson's a tough guard for us. We chose to change defenses in the second half to get away from Bernardo and Hicks taking all the shots. We left Johnson open, knowing he's capable. He hit three threes in the second half and scored 15 second half points. We don't really have a three-man on our team right now, so that's an issue. And P.J. Hardy and Cedric Russell are night in and night out required to guard taller people, and that can be a problem. But we fought through that, made timely shots, and won our three of the four games, or all four games actually, have been two-possession games, and we won three of the four. So proud of our guys and the way they hung together, made the plays they needed to make at the end. Jakeenan had another big game, was 4 for 4 from three. He was honored with his game ball for scoring 45 points in the Cajun Dome against Little Rock early this year, which was the most in our school's history in the Dome. So very impressive record there for Keenan. He continues to be at the top of the leaderboards across Sun Belt Conference play. As we get ready to go to Boone, we'll certainly continue to focus on the things that have been good to us and try to improve on both sides of the basketball. And we will face a App team that is totally different than Troy. They've got a backcourt in Ron Shabazz, an all-conference player, first-team preseason pick. Justin Forrest is an outstanding guard, and those two guys between them average about 38 points per game. And they're guard heavy. They're going to shoot a lot of three-point shots in conference play. I believe they've shot 45% of their attempts have been from three. So it's a different type game than we played against Troy on Saturday night. After that game, we'll spend the night in Boone and then go back to Charlotte, bus to Charlotte, fly to Myrtle Beach, and then play an early afternoon game on Saturday against Coastal Carolina.
Questions? Is the transition after that game in Boone more difficult than others going into Saturday? Not really.
Well, it's always a hard trip. Certainly when you go, getting to Boone's difficult. And we went there first. I believe one of the first sports teams to go there. Football went twice this year, and we don't have the luxury to charter, so we have to fly into Charlotte. And there's two ways to get there: either bus over or around the mountain. So you go up in the fog or go around. And understand the weather's going to be cool there. And could have some travel issues. We have had in the past, but going from Boone back, same thing, to Coastal. We've done it in reverse order the last time and only time we did this. We went into Coastal first.
Do you remember, since you've been in it, this much parity in the league, and what do you think is behind just how much there is this season?
We've got good teams in the league and good coaches, and you certainly know your neighbor in conference play. We feel like we do a great job scouting. I'm sure other teams feel like they do a great job scouting. You know your opponent comes down to who can make plays and get the big break or get the big basket or a big stop at the end of the game. But it's tight. It's like every conference that's bunched up and good teams. And that's why these two games are super important for us to beat Troy and South in one game play, because if we wind up tied, we'll get the upper seed in the conference tournament. And also a couple of teams will not make the conference tournament, so that's going to be interesting also.
How much better are you guys when Marcus plays like that and kind of leads the way and facilitates your offense?
When other guys are making shots and he plays like they were really strong, and he has tried to take over before, sometimes too quick. When we first lost Malik, he tried to do too much, we felt like, and tried to drive the ball into the teeth of the defense without moving it or reversing it one time. But he picks and chooses his spots, and I think he understands the game well, reads the game, and makes adjustments. And in the first half, he didn't play very well defensively or offensively, and we had a little discussion at halftime. And second half, he came out and made the right adjustments and made the right reads. And the one he laid it up on the end, if you see the replay, PJ's wide open for a three. I mean, he could have kicked that back out. But he made the right call and got to the basket untouched. Fouled out one of their point guards. The other one had 4, I believe. So, or did he foul them both out? I don't even remember. He's a good player. He's excited about going home as well. Both these games are close to Columbia.
You were asked the other night, can you sit back and relax, or realize that it's a good ball game going on? But how much fun is it to coach in these close ball games when you know one or two plays may make the difference?
Well, it's certainly fun when you win. The game at Georgia Southern was exciting. The game at Monroe was exciting. If we'd had another 2 minutes or got the whistle at the end of the game, we win that game. So, but it was nice to be at home and to play in front of our home crowd. They've been fantastic. We've led the league in attendance for like 4 or 5 years in a row and have an opportunity to do that again. We're leading. But the band, the students, the fans, season ticket holders, all Cajun Nation makes a huge difference for us as our sixth man. And that makes it even more fun when it's loud. And then you guys execute and make the plays that we know that they're capable of making.
I believe you spoke to it a little bit, but what makes or what has App State done that's allowed them to have any success this year?
App State has a first-team All-League guy, senior Ronald Shabazz, that certainly is one of the handful of pro prospects in our league, and he's a really good player. Justin Forrest is a really good player. Those two guards are outstanding. We only played them once last year. It was early. Might have been one of our first home games, if not our first home game, and we really defended them and held them to a low point total. I can remember our guards did a good job on their guards, and we'll have to do the same as we go back. They've played 5 out of 7 on the road, so the schedule's not been in their favor at all.
At this point in the season, how much scoreboard watching?
A little bit. I see you're certainly looking for teams, and Jay and I spoke before the game the other night, and we were talking about the standings and how they were going to be bunched up, and if we win, we'll be one of several teams with 3 losses. So you watch a little bit just to see, because the stakes are high. To get a bye or a double bye are very important.
On that note, with the calendar turning to February this week, how close are you guys to being the team you want to be?
Well, we're pretty good this week. If we can get better defensively, continue to make 3-point shots, then certainly I think we're going to be a factor in this race. We have rebounded the ball well. We've taken great care of the basketball. I think we had, 9, 11, maybe 8 turnovers. We had 2 single-digit turnover games out of the last 3. And we're averaging like 12 turnovers a game in conference, 12 and a half, and doing a really good job there. So we just need to continue to play, stay healthy, follow the game plan, and make shots.
I think Wesley had 17 the other night or something. How much did that help give Stroman maybe a little extra step late?
Wesley.
Trajan?
Minutes.
Oh, 17 minutes. I started to say, I wish he had 17 points. No, that's a good point. Those minutes were big, and you saw the long ball that was deflected. His ankle still bothered him. He couldn't quite run that down. He got it and threw it back in off the Troy player, but it certainly helped. all of our guards. And Cedric was in foul trouble, so it was a necessity as well. But Trajan's getting better by the day, and we missed him in a few of those games and feel like he can make a difference.
Just looking ahead, with coach, for them, what is the thing that you have to prep for the most?
Haven't looked at Coastal a lot. They always are a talented team. They have a good guard from New Orleans that we recruited a little bit. And certainly he's a good player and a good young man. But we've got to be ready to play against multiple defenses. They'll change defenses quite a bit, as they have in the past. And they're on a 3-game winning streak. I think the young man I'm talking about from New Orleans just became eligible or just got healthy again and is playing. He's been injured. So they're getting back to full strength kind of like we are. And hopefully it'll be a very competitive basketball game.
Do you feel like after, since you guys already went through your ULM and Georgia road trip, that, you know, that really prepares you the rest of the season for going on the road, because it doesn't get much more difficult than that stretch?
Well, they're all difficult, certainly, and from a logistics standpoint, this one's hard because, as we talked about, getting in and out of Boone, and weather conditions too. But the first, we said last week that those 3 games, you know, the Georgia trip and then Monroe is the only time we played 3 games in a row on the road, and we could have won 2 of those games. We really could have, and that would have been huge, but we didn't. But that's one trip out of the way. If we can, we've got 3 left with the Carolinas and then the Texas for single games there, as they won't return, and certainly to Arkansas to finish. And they're all important, and we need to try to get it as many of these games as we can. But no different than the Georgia swing. We have to go play well, and that's what we talked about last week. Our guys expect to win, and they're trying to play well to give themselves an opportunity to win, and we've done that in the last few games.